Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Sivir supplementary guide, and today we're going to be talking about Shield Bow Sivir instead of going for BT Sivir. So taking a look, basically, you can see the first guy is going for BT, second guy has not even gone for any of them, and the third guy actually has gone for Shield Bow. So Shield Bow is actually pretty valuable now that the healing, the physical vamp has been nerfed on Bloodthirster, and the main reason for that is that Bloodthirster gives you like 10% physical vamp, right? Shield Bow only gives you 5%, which is half. But when you proc it, you actually get 8%. So during that short duration, you do actually get more physical vamp compared to Bloodthirster, although that's not really the reason why you want to build Shield Bow. The main reason why is, of course, the shield itself, right? Like you get worse stats in the sense that you get less, a lot less AD. You do get a little bit more attack speed, and of course you get half the physical vamp. But as I just mentioned, you get the shield and you get more physical vamp when you proc the shield. So the shield is really the main point of it, and situationally this can actually be better if you think you're gonna get bursted down, right? So here, of course, we have Gluttonous Greaves as our first item for the AD and the Omnivamp. And then after Shield Bow, you're going to go for Navori. And the main reason you want to go for Navori is, of course, it lowers your cooldown. So this is very important for basically all of your cooldowns, right? The W is the most important, of course, because you want to get those ricochets. Q, gives you more damage than your autos. So it matters as well and helps you charge up your ulti stacks. And of course, Spell Shield, needless to say, is just important. And then you have IE just to increase your damage even further, and of course more reminder for the Armor Pen, Grievous Wounds, standard stuff. And then for your last item, you have a lot of options. So I think generally the best option is Black Cleaver, because Black Cleaver gives you health for more tankiness, AD and ability haste, but it also gives you the Sunder passive. Sunder passive, of course, allows you to shred people's armor. And with your ricochets bouncing all over the place, it's really easy to fully stack this in like 2 seconds on majority of the enemy team, just because of how they bounce all around, and they each stack up Black Cleaver. But some other options you have are, of course, defensive options like Maw or GA, things like that. And something I've seen also is Serpent's Fang as the last item, just purely for the anti-shielding capabilities. Of course, not for the lethality or anything, but 50 AD is pretty nice as well. But you do get anti-shielding with that if you really need it. I mean, there are some games where, for example, there's a lot of shielding on the enemy team, but nobody on your team is taking anti-shielding, and I guess you really have no choice. I've done that like in one game in my entire time playing Wild Rift, but it is definitely viable. So for the runes, you of course have Lethal Tempo, just for the attack speed and the range. You have Brutal, of course, because you auto attack a ton. Giant Slayer to deal with the tanks. Alacrity just to attack even faster. And Bone Plating just with the defensive capabilities. And then for the spells, you go for Flash. And most of the time, you want to actually go for Ghost, right? Because Sivir normally already has a spell shield. So Cleanse is not always needed. So normally you want to go for Ghost. But in games where you have a lot of CC, that's where, of course, the Cleanse comes in. I keep tapping Clarity instead of Cleanse because they look so familiar. But some similar. Sorry, but yeah, Cleanse, can come in, of course, when, you do need it. But with all that said, let's move on to talking about the gameplay. Alright, so let's take a look at our gameplay. So, of course, the main thing I want you guys to focus on is the damage, right? You guys can see from the title of the video, we do like 60k damage in like a 20-minute game, right? So that's a lot of damage, as we all know. And that's kind of the main reason why I think Sivir is one of the best ADCs in the game right now. I think she's either the best or the second best, depending on whether you think Varus is better than her or not. Of course, this is a little bit situational because Sivir does really well into a lot of frontline, like in this case Nautilus and Garen, because she needs someone to attack to bounce the ricochets off of. Here, yeah, you can see I basically eat an MFQ, I get caught out with the Veigar cage, and then I stand behind a minion and I just get first blooded, right? So really kind of an embarrassing death here. I'm dying like 30 seconds into the game. I mean, honestly, I think I played against Veigar support less than 5 times in my life, and just Veigar cage randomly coming up at level 1 honestly just surprised me there, and I just walked straight into it, and then that confused me so much that I was mentally overwhelmed and just stood behind a minion and ate an MFQ. So either which way, horrible start to the game. So what you will notice is I don't do anything outstanding in this entire game, in my opinion. So like, I didn't really even feel that I did 60k damage until I looked at the stats afterwards and I realized that I did so much damage. And this is kind of really one of the biggest strengths of Sivir, which is that you deal so much damage without even feeling that you dealt that much damage. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the opponents didn't really think I was doing all that much, or even my teammates, right? Because me, myself, I didn't even think I was doing all that much, right? But it's only after the fact that I realized that as I nearly killed my Blitzcrank there, that I realized that I actually done so much damage. So horrible start to the game so far, but you know, as I said, you know, you will see that over time I just chip away at the enemies with all of these ricochets, and we eventually, you know, end up with that much damage. So just keep that in mind as you guys just watch the gameplay, right? Because yeah, it doesn't look like I did that much, but I really did. So the next thing I kind of want to talk about, as MF is forced to flash to avoid getting hooked by Blitzcrank. But MF had cleanse, right? So if she saw the hook coming, she could have just cleansed it instead of actually flashing. But yeah, fight in the river kind of breaks out. We actually reached the scene first, despite MF actually having priority. Here we are able to run down Nautilus. We're trying to run down Ari as well. I'm standing behind Blitzcrank so that I don't get charmed. Blitzcrank get charmed instead. Doesn't have hook, so we can't actually really do anything. So we're just gonna clear out the mid wave and then get a reset probably. Yeah, there we go. So next thing I want to kind of talk about is why are we going for Shield Bow over Bloodthirster. As I mentioned, Bloodthirster generally gives you better stats and better, more consistent physical vamp, but Shield Bow gives you not as good stats, but you do get the shield and you do get the extra vamp when you proc the shield. So I would say that the main times you want to go for Shield Bow if there are a lot of ways you can get one shot in this game. So here you can see we're against, well, I would say 4 champions who could, I mean, honestly, every champion could kind of one-shot me if you really think about it. Right, because Garen, technically, he can do the silence into spin into like the ulti thing, and the ulti can kind of one-shot you, and the Shield Bow can actually save you from that. Nautilus is just a full AP burst mage. Same with Ari, and kind of same with Veigar, so they have triple AP like mages in this game. And here, I'm gonna spell shield the Veigar ulti to block a ton of damage. And then MF, technically, if she gets fed enough and builds like lethality, she could easily just, you know, kill me as well, right? Like in a fast time. Yeah, so here MF kind of gets caught out. Veigar stuck on 1 HP, so is Blitzcrank though. He tries to get the fruit. I'm able to get the boomerang, which basically negates the fruit that he just took. And he's now stuck under tower. Blitzcrank runs in, tries to hook him. And I do end up getting the kill. Now here I actually think I didn't need to cleanse, because I think that my spell shield would have actually ate the ult. But I cleansed and spell shielded at the same time, so I actually end up getting hooked afterwards. But thankfully I do end up surviving in the grand scheme of things. So it all kind of works out. So we get 2 kills back after that embarrassing death at 30 seconds into the game. And we're able to double kill the MF and the Veigar. And now our goal situation is back on par for the most part with the MF. Speaking of MF, she's really overextended. Wukong is trying to come in for a gank. However, I believe that Bush must be warded, because they backed off the moment he got close. So here, knockup comes in on MF into the ulti and into us chasing them down. Veigar now pops the barrier as well. He's really 1 HP as well. Unfortunately, Nautilus comes in. Really nice spell shield by myself to kind of block the damage. However, I'm not able to escape. Wukong now coming in for the free cleanup. Gets the kill onto the Veigar. MF, I don't know why she stepped back towards them. She gets cleaned up as well, and Nautilus goes down as well. And Wukong picks up a very nice triple kill. Yep, honestly, that one was kind of free for the Wukong. Yeah, MF should not have walked back. She should have just taken the opportunity to escape, because it was really unlikely she would kill Wukong and Blitzcrank. I didn't think that was going to happen. So now my team is doing the dragon. Enemy Ari is trying to run interference. Huge ulti comes in from the kill to save Blitzcrank and basically bait Ari. And yeah. So here MF just gets in a couple autos on me. I take a little bit of damage, not the biggest deal in the world. And Herald is now getting done by the Nautilus. Our top lane Zed is actually trying to run some interference there with the Herald. And I think Wukong is making his way there from base. So there is a possibility, no possibility of a steal, because Wukong doesn't make it there in time. And here MF, I'm not sure why she's ulting us under tower, but she does. And I guess because Blitzcrank was low, maybe. But yeah, overall, no big deal. We're able to get the base and complete our shield bow. Shield bow, of course, I wouldn't say it's a huge power spike, but of course every completed item is definitely going to be a spike, so we do get an extra level of safety, especially if like we get CC by the Veigar cage and we are going to get one shot. We probably wouldn't. So here, speaking of the cage, we can, or we could have walked out of the cage if I done it properly, but because I kind of stopped, the spell shield kind of ran out already, or rather it propped already, and I was still on the cage, so I did get stunned anyway. So you can actually just walk through the cage with your shield if you don't mess it up like what I did. Here we get stuck under tower, we're gonna get a plate. He is walking up for some reason, so here we get a little bit of a small chunk on him with the boomerangs. He's kind of running out of mana soon, so he's not gonna be doing all that much in a while. He's walking up again, so probably means he's baiting for. There he is. The Nautilus is in here, so here we're gonna have to pop all of our summoner spells to escape, and we eat a bit of an MF all as well. So here you see the shield bow basically baited Ahri into diving on us. Now, granted, we did die eventually, but definitely Ahri would not have done that if she knew, or either she not wouldn't, but she probably wouldn't have done that if she knew we had shield bow. And Wukong comes in for another cleanup and another triple kill. Wukong having the time of his life, just coming to my lane and killing everyone after I died. And he saves the tower on 40 HP. Veigar, though, I probably was going to get it with an auto attack. Looks like he's more interested in the minions. But yeah, so now we are coming over to defend our 40 HP tower from the Veigar. Yeah, so here you see we are able to walk through the cage with the spell shield. Blitzcrank looking for the hook, but Veigar is able to run away. So here we're gonna stay close to Blitzcrank in case he gets a hook. There we go. MF gets hooked, and no way out there. She didn't have any summoner spells, and also there was the glacial behind her, so no way she's getting out there. Kale comes over, takes all of, not all, but takes most of our minions, and comes to hit tower with us, I guess. You can see Nautilus, Veigar, and Ahri are all kind of on the way. I get stunned here, and unfortunately I just get chain CC here, basically. Yeah, too much CC, I get rooted, stunned, everything, and I'm not getting out. So here I'm just trying to do as much damage as I can before I die, which ends up actually trading 2 kills back, I think. Hook comes in. Yeah, overall, I'm not sure. That was really messy. I think overall it's like a 3 for 3 or so. Or is it 3 for 4? I think Zed solo killed the Garen. Garen's not involved in that. So it was a 3 for 3, but Zed killed Garen on the other side of the map. Or someone killed Garen on the other side of the map. I think Wukong killed Garen on the other side of the map with the help of Zed. But yeah, really messy stuff here.
Enemy turret destroyed.
So you can see we're not that amazing yet. Sivir is kind of only really kind of becomes strong like when you hit your second item spec, which is what we're going for now. Like when you get like one item plus Novori is kind of where you really start to shine. And of course, with every subsequent item, it's gonna get better and better. But on one item, she's not really that great. On 2 items, she's a lot better because you do get that cooldown reduction and you can spam your spells just a little bit more. Here MF pushes in, so I'm just going to quickly collect the wave. And of course, other than the fact that Sivir's boomerangs can just bounce all over the enemy team, it can also bounce all over minions. So wave clear on Sivir is absolutely amazing. Blitzcrank gets a little bit caught out here and has to flash over the wall because the entire enemy team has collapsed. On him, speaking of collapse, here comes Ahri. Nearly gets the charm on Zed right as Zed exits the portal. And here a fight is breaking out. I'm going to pop my ult to give my team a little movement speed. And I'm trying to run down the Nautilus here. Nautilus goes down. I'm a little bit overextended because I'm in front of my entire team. Shield Bow pops and I get basically max value from the Shield Bow. Ahri goes down to Zed, but Zed dies in return. And here at this point, yeah, the fight is kind of over, so I'm just gonna to reset. And honestly, KDA doesn't look the best. 3, 4, and 9. I mean, I do have 9 assists, so 12 KP out of 17 is really ain't bad. But I haven't been securing the kills. I think the kills have mostly gone to like I think like the Kale and the Wukong. Of course, Wukong 2 cleanups already, and a lot of times when me and Kale are in the fight, Kale ends up getting the kill instead of myself. So here we're just looking to maximize our farm. So we're just gonna farm these Krugs while the next wave is making its way in. and then farm the next wave as well. There's going to be a future wave that's going to crash really soon, but Garen and Wukong meet in the river. I'm just kind of making my way over to kind of help the Wukong out a little bit, but don't really think we want to fight Garen, because Garen is like Heartsteel and Frozen Heart. We're not going to kill him very easily, and Wukong has to flash out because the whole enemy team shows up behind the Garen, whereas our team is kind of not ready to fight, so we have to disengage the fight in a jiffy. Now Kayle is now getting run down by the enemy team. 2 people chasing Kayle. And here we're trying to make it to what looks like might be a possible fight, but turns out there is no fight. Or at least there appears not to be. Blitzcrank misses the hook. Blitzcrank runs straight in. I'm getting a good amount of damage from over the wall, but I can't really get too close, and my range is kind of trash. But here you can see I'm popping the ult to kind of give my whole team movement speed. And we're gonna kill this Ahri under tower, and Garen now gets knocked out. Garen is getting the full force of like 5 people smacking his head in. And we're gonna focus Garen. 3 people now focusing, 4 people now focusing Garen. Garen goes down as expected, and we get this tier 2 tower as well. And now since we actually have a wave, and only Nautilus is alive, we're actually going all the way to inhib. So we actually get like a 12-minute top lane inhib, which is huge. Because number 1, it disables the Nexus shield if we ever get another good fight that allows us to reach the enemy base. And number 2, of course, top lane inhib means there's a lot of Baron pressure, because Baron, speaking of Baron, apparently this entire time, Nautilus was soloing the Baron, and I'm not quite sure how, because Nautilus is building full AP, right? So he's relatively squishy, and I don't think a mage can solo Baron, but I guess I'm wrong, because he clearly just did. Either way, at the point in time, I was really confused. Currently, I'm still really confused as to how Nautilus managed to solo Baron. I guess it's just something that Nautilus can do, and it's just something that I don't know. But, I mean, he basically traded the lives of his entire team for a Baron, which may or may not be worth it. Because, honestly, if they get a bunch of towers here, it could be actually worth it. Zed gets completely caught out. And I'm getting caught out here by Garen. Garen goes in for the silence. I pop my spell shield at the completely wrong moment. And I have a full Frozen Heart stacks on me. I pop the ulti to kind of chase people down. And once again, I'm just getting harassed by the Garen. I get my ulti pop for the second phase. He silences into my spell shield, which helps me get back a little bit of health. And we're able to clear the wave. Now, assuming we don't lose any of our inhibs to the Baron, or even any of our tier 2 towers, this is definitely a good thing overall. We have our IE now, so of course another huge spike. Now here I actually sell my boots and get the Merc Treads, just because there's 3 AP sources on the enemy team, and all of them are doing decently well enough, whereas the only AD source is actually MF, so I decide to actually go for the defensive boots here, because that's going to help me out a lot, especially if I get jumped on by any one of them, or just damaged by any one of them in general. Blitzcrank here looking for a hook. Hooks Veigar, but Veigar's cage is completely zoning me off. I can't walk through the cage at that angle, because I would leave myself inside the cage, where I definitely don't want to be. So here Veigar gets cut out again, but once again, another good cage by Veigar means that I can only walk into his cage, and I can't really go ahead and kill him, despite Blitzcrank hooking him twice. Here Nautilus is coming in, hooks the Blitzcrank. I'm free hitting while Blitzcrank is getting CC'd here. Really late cleanse by myself, pretty horrible. Here I try to flash and get rid of Veigar, but Veigar lives on 1 HP. My shield bow pops, allowing me to actually kill Nautilus. And yeah, unfortunately I do end up dying to Ahri there. I think if I cleansed the Ignite, which I didn't even notice was on me, I might have been able to kill Ahri there, because Ahri was really close to dying as well. Maybe 1 or 2 more autos would have done the trick. And with Ignite removed, and with the healing from the shield ball that propped, I might have actually been able to lifesteal and kill Ahri. It's definitely a possibility, but definitely did not happen there, because I didn't even notice I was ignited. So anyways, at this point, it's actually a very even game. The kills are relatively close, but the goal is really close as well. And even the tower state is pretty close. And of course, there's no soul. So the game is in a very even state for the most part. And it's gonna all come down to like 1 or 2 fights, and whoever executes those fights better probably ends up winning the game. So here Zed is kind of catching out Veigar and kind of getting caught out himself at the same time. Garen is trying to run him down, but Blitzcrank is there to kind of peel for him. Nautilus is now coming in, and it's becoming a full-on fight. So yeah, I popped the ulti so my team can kind of chase them down. Yeah, here I'm just focusing the Nautilus because he's AP and he's squishy, so we get the kill onto him. Garen goes down. I unfortunately get stunned here. Blitzcrank kind of trying to run down the two mages there while Kill is split pushing. Now here they stand in the minion wave, which allows me to actually bounce and get a lot of damage onto them. Ahri flashes forward for the charm, completely baits the Veigar. Veigar actually dies for Ahri's bait, and now Ahri dies as well. I pop the stasis because I'm tanking tower. And I try to spell shield here, but MF just auto attacks me down and just kills me. And unfortunately, Blitzcrank, who was trying to help me out, ends up dying as well. So kind of the mini dilemma I have here is that there's triple AP on the enemy team, with Nautilus being the most gold. So I do have the Merc Treads, but at the same time, MF is also doing pretty well. She has more gold than me, and she's also doing really well. So I kind of also have a problem in terms of getting armor, but I really don't have space to fit armor in my build. So MF is kind of the one who does the most damage to me at the moment, just because, of course, I have Merc Treads and not plated steel caps. So at this point, Elder Dragon is coming up in half a minute's time, and probably whoever gets this Elder, probably wins the game, right? My team has a slight goal lead against the enemy team, but nothing too significant. Unfortunately, Wukong gets completely caught up before Elder, and Wukong dies, our jungler, dies right before Elder. Now, at this point, we kind of have to do something, so Nautilus actually picks up a double kill. At this point here, you can see Blitzcrank hits a huge hook onto Ahri. We get a free pick onto Ahri. Now, I'm trying to chase people down with the ulti. Trying to kill Veigar here. I flash past Nautilus to kill Veigar. We get the kill onto Veigar. Fade away kill with the Q, and we get a kill onto Nautilus as well. And now we're at 1v1ing against the Garen. Shield bow pops. And here you can see I wanted to actually spell shield his ulti, but he actually broke the spell shield with his Q and then ulti me, so really well played by the Garen. And by the way, that Garen was 0-5-0. That kill he just got on me is his first KP of the game, which is basically absolutely insane, at this point, right? It's 18 minutes into the game, and that's the first KP he actually has in the entire game. So speaking of which, that kind of fight that we engaged on the enemy team actually means that no one actually was able to do Elder, right? So now it's gonna be possibly a fight at Elder, but looks like not, because the enemy team is busy dealing with all the waves that are pushing in. Every single lane is pushing in, and they're all just trying to deal with the waves, and this actually provides an opportunity for my team to actually pick up a free Elder. I spawn right before they get Elder, so I actually have the Elder buff myself. So that is just absolutely insane. Now my whole team is Elder. They have 2 inhibs down. Baron is some ways away from spawning, but if we make good use of this Elder, we should be able to get the last inhib and or just end the game outright. So here, our team is kind of a little bit disjointed. Blitzcrank is recalling, Wukong is making his way back, so we're kind of just chilling for a little bit. Zed with Elder goes in onto Veigar and MF, but MF does have the stasis. I try to catch her out, but she's able to get away. And a mini fight is kind of breaking out here. But any team is of course going to disengage because they don't have Elder and we do. I do get some bounces onto them, so Elder is going to burn them for a little bit. Hook from Blitzcrank goes a little bit wide. Kill is coming in with the wave on the bot lane for us to try to force this inhib, but MF ults the inhib, ults the wave, and yeah, I'm just using my ricochets to just bounce off of minions to clear the minions there. Huge hook comes in, Veigar goes down, and here I'm just bouncing my ricochets on all of them. I get the kill onto Ahri, and here my shield wall gets popped by the Nexus tower, and at this point we're just going to quickly end the game before it gets out of hand. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.
Victory!